Welcome to Maths with Jade. In this video tutorial, we'll be learning about percentages, and more specifically, percentages using a multiplier, so make sure you have a calculator at the ready. And this video will cover a range of subtopics. Those subtopics are finding percentages of amounts, percentage increase and percentage decrease, reverse percentages, that's finding the original amount after a percentage change, and finding percentage change. Timings of each of those subtopics are in the description below. Let's start off with finding percentages of amounts. I buy a carton of apple juice. And in this carton, there's 950 millilitres of apparent apple juice. But if I read the small print, I find out that there is only 22% of real fruit and 4% is sugar. So I want to know how much real fruit is in there, how much sugar is in there, and then how much other stuff are they putting in. First, let's look at real fruit. I want 22% of 950 millilitres. So first, I'm going to convert 22% into a decimal, and to do that I divide by 100. So I move that invisible decimal place twice and I'm left with 0.22. 0.22 is my multiplier. So now I'm just going to multiply my multiplier with the amount of fruit juice. And the amount of real fruit in my fruit juice is just 209 millilitres. I'm going to do the same thing to find the amount of sugar. I'm going to divide 4 by 100, and that gives me 0.04. That's my multiplier. And now I just do 0.04 times 950 millilitres. And it turns out I have 38 millilitres of sugar in my apple juice. So what percentage of my apple juice does other stuff account for? Well, I've got 100%, I minus 22%, and I minus 4%, and that gives me 74%. I convert that to a decimal and I get 0.74. Now I can just multiply my 0.74 by 950 and I find out that they are putting 703 millilitres of other stuff into my apple juice. That's a rather long-winded way to do it though. I might have been better off to just take my 950 millilitres minus the amount of real fruit and minus the amount of sugar, and I get the same answer a lot faster. Here are 3 questions for you to try. Pause the video now. Here are your solutions with appropriate working out. Frederick earns a whopping $41,500 commission on that property. Tammy's tip is $19.20, so yes, this is deemed socially acceptable in Florida. Michael pays $480 upfront for the car. Well, if we minus that from the cost of the car, we get a remaining $1,920 that needs to be paid. Divide that by the payment period of 20 months and we get $96 per month. Now let's look at percentage increase. A house is bought for $320,000. After a year, the house has increased in value by 14%. How much is the house worth now? It always helps to see these problems visually. So here is my original value of the house, 100%, and I want to add an additional 14%. And that gives me 114%. So to solve this problem, I just need to find 114% of 320,000. I'm going to do just what I did before. Convert my 114% to a decimal, which is our multiplier, and then multiply that with my original value of the house. And I get my new value, $364,800. And I can do something very similar for percentage decrease, because not everything goes up in value. On average, a car will decrease in value by 23% each year. If you buy a car for $4,670, how much can you expect it to be worth 1 year later? Let's see this problem visually again. Here is the original price of the car, and I want to remove 23% because it's a decrease. Well, that leaves me with 77% because I'm just going to get rid of that 23%. So really, if I'm left with 77% of the value, then I want to find 77% of 4,670. Convert that to a decimal multiplier and multiply by the original value of the car. And I get $3,595.90. It's time for you to have a go at this. Here's a mixture of percentage increase and percentage decrease questions. Pause the video now. Here are your solutions. Please check your answers carefully. Let's now look at reverse percentages, which means finding the original amount. Let's say I put my money in a bank because it offers a 1.5% APY, which means interest per year. This isn't very good, by the way, but better than what most banks offer. I did this a year ago and I now have $3,045. The problem is my accountant is on holiday in the Bahamas for the second time this year and I'm really useless with money, so I don't remember how much I originally deposited. How do I find out my original deposit? Let's see this visually again. I have my original deposit, which is 100%, and now I have an extra 1.5% on top of that. Well, altogether, that gives me 101.5%. As a multiplier, this is 1.015. So if I had taken that multiplier and multiplied it with my original amount, I will get the amount I have now. And this leaves me with quite an easy one-step equation to solve. To find my original deposit, I can just divide both sides by 1.015. So my original deposit is just the amount I have now divided by the multiplier. And it gives me an original deposit of $3,000, which means in 1 year I have just made $45 by putting my money in a bank. Let's go visit my accountant in the Bahamas. She got a 25% discount on her stay and she is paying $162 a night. I want to know, what is the normal price per night? Let's let this bar here represent the normal price. Well, I'm going to get rid of 25% of that, which leaves me with 75. I know that as a multiplier, 75% is 0.75. So if I was to multiply 0.75 with the normal price, I will get $162. So again, we have quite a simple equation to solve. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.75, which gives me a normal price of 162 divided by 0.75, which gives me $216. Interestingly enough, this means that my accountant is saving more money per night in the Bahamas than I did by putting my money in a bank for a year. Here's some questions for you to try. Pause the video now. That should have been pretty straightforward. Here are your solutions. Now let's look at something you should all be used to doing. Let's say I have a piano performance exam and I score a very low 46 out of 113. I know I've probably failed because I played the whole thing in the wrong key, but I want to know what percent is that. Well, this is so easy to do. To find the percent, I just do 46, divide by 113, and then times by 100. And I scored a 40.7% on my exam. If I understand that, I can do something really similar to find percentage change. This is most commonly used to find profit and loss. I have a friend who recently took up the hobby of buying old furniture, sanding it down, slapping on some fresh paint, and then selling it at a higher price. She bought an old chair for $16, did her thing, and then sold it for $68. What was her percentage profit? Now, percentage profit is really just calculating the percentage change, and there's a really nice formula for this. To find percentage change, we take the actual change, divide it by the original, and then times by 100. Her actual change, in other words, the profit, is going to be 68 minus 16. So what she sold it for minus what she bought it for. And that gives us $52. So I have my actual change and I already know my original. It was originally bought for $16. So now I just take my 52, divide by 16, and then times by 100. So she made 325% profit. And the same thing can be done for other types of percentage change, such as loss. Let's say somebody is watching the stock markets carefully and they see some green candles after green candles and think, I need to buy because it's going to keep going up. So not wanting to miss out, he buys some stock for $860. Shortly after this though, a war breaks out in Europe, inflation is out of control, and the world enters a small recession. This sends stocks plummeting. So our new investor does what new investors do best and panic sells here for $458. What is his percentage loss? First, we want to find the actual change, in other words, the loss. So we minus his sell price from his buy price. This gives us $402. My original was $860. So I want to take my actual change, 402, and divide it by $860 and then times by 100. Made a loss of 46.7%. Here's some questions for you to do. They're not all profit and loss, but they are all percentage change. Pause the video now. Here are the correct solutions to those percentage change problems. Thank you for watching. You have made it to the end of this tutorial on percentages and using a multiplier. This has been Maths with Jade, and if you liked this video and found it useful, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on content, share this video, and all comments below are welcome. See you next time.